We welcome our today's speaker, Shri Thiyagarajan Ji, for today's Saturday talk. And I'm honored to give an introduction of Thiyagarajan Ji. He's an engineer and an MBA in HR. He has a great professional career span of 39 years. He has been manager and head of the program planning and evaluation group at ISRO, Department of Space, Government of India. The spectrum of professional expertise lies in facility management, conceptual planning and installation commissioning, interface with civil and water supply systems, interface with industrial security agencies, budgeting and expenditure management, generation of turnkey project proposals and project reports, contract proposals and monitoring, overall project management, HR functions, that is training, reviews, skill development programs, program planning, reviews and evaluation, interface with scientific audit agencies, and familiarity of industrial environment. It's all vast experience of 39 years. He has worked in the different aspects and areas. And in addition to that, with this small introduction, sir, I request you to take it forward from here.
I feel really honored and privileged to be in the midst of you. Maybe just to usher in the topic, artificial intelligence, orbits, algorithms, physiology, neural networks, all such serious topics which at times may put you into some sort of a discomfort zone. Now, the other side of you, when I just had a preliminary briefing from Abhimanyu sir, what I thought was all these probably the previous occasions, you would have been listening to real technical topics and real technical experts, and the pioneers are the senior faculty, maybe the immediate the preceding this one none other than Param sir, where I know very well about his depth of knowledge. Majority of these youngsters, or majority, if I can address like majority of you, no doubt, obviously, you would have been in the cream of the academic brilliance in your respective institutions. And then the fundamental knowledge of software, unlike our generation where we have to wait for a particular this one after the graduation or anything like that to go into some sort of software awareness or coaching type of thing. Whereas nowadays, right from third semester onwards, you try to get to know the fundamental knowledge of the software. Another interesting aspect of it is the first job offer you got even before completion of the course. This is something a blessing where, earlier the job hunting or the soul searching, all those things were there in home. But right now, all these youngsters, all the current generation people, they get their job offer even before they complete the course. Or sometimes even they keep some sort of subjects in arrears. I'm not talking about one particular lot. I am talking in general. But even then, they get the job offers. And then obviously their first salary starts at the age of 22 to 23, which is very, very substantial, and obviously followed by the lifestyle changes within a very short span. I'm talking about the lifestyle changes, mean probably they are all from a different and diversified background, and wherein they all get pulled together in a cosmos where the IT sector or anywhere when they join, like the cities like Bangalore, even Mumbai or Chennai or Delhi. So where their lifestyle changes with respect to the environment, and of course they have a very significant level of peer interaction, because in our generation we used to have some sort of a virtual type of this one where we have some sort of a reservation in interacting with the seniors, because the gap between us and the real pioneers, they were real pioneers, so we had to look at them rather than going along with them. Maybe they have taken us into their fold, but nevertheless it is nothing like that significant of peer level interaction what we have now. And obviously the social media is at your palm. In fact, I even now for this setup I had taken the help of one youngster from the current generation for setting up this particular thing. So this, when I talk about the brighter side of you, everybody will agree that these are all the salient features of an engineer, or for that matter anybody, for a current graduate or a youngster who gets into some sort of an industrial or a business environment. And now I just want to momentarily ground them, not intentionally. I just want to say that all said and done, can repair a tube light at our home. Even though I happen to be from the electrical engineering background, Params are also from reputed institutions. But then, when the question of repairing a simple tube light at our home, are we comfortable, or are we authorized by our family to do that? Similarly, if you add on, how many of us are really aware of the first aid procedures? Because I happen to be exposed to the industrial safety environment, so wherein I had had to jump into this ocean to learn that particular type of trick or the skill set. So the question comes really because you people have to go out, you people have a larger canvas around you. So wherein any untoward incident, do you have the sort of a first aid awareness or the first aid procedure awareness? And then simply, we are all working in multi-storied buildings with a lot of building management systems or a lot of other infrastructure. So wherein if something like a fire happens, this is what generally we have seen in many of the industrial establishments or the IT sector or even for that matter, any other commercial establishments. So if the fire happens, what we are supposed to do? This is something, whether we like it or not, we will have to we will have to take a backseat. This is only to just make you realize that what is the ground reality. Are we comfortable in starting a jet? Our own two-wheelers or our own four-wheeler, what are the kind of this one, the spark plug, whether you will be able to look after yourself or you will be getting stuck up in the highway and seeking for some help or waiting for some sort of a person to come and assist you. Then the simplest of all the things is, suppose you happen to be living in an apartment and if you are caught in the lift along with somebody else or you want to do some sort of a rescue mission, what you are supposed to do. I just took some very, very trivial or mundane type of examples where on one side we are academically brilliant and we have a skill set and the domain knowledge is exemplary. But on the other end, as a common man, when we come out and how far we are prepared ourselves to face these particular type of situations, which may not be very, I would say that awkward situations, but these are all simple situations which can happen to anyone everywhere. Now, coming out of this particular, the grounded elements, we also have some very positive triggering aspects, especially with respect to India. Probably because Param sir and all happen to be from ISRO or Department of Space. So the question comes, these are all some of the triggering elements for youngsters because when they are in the final years and when they want to get into some sort of a research or an R&D type of a thing or even an operational scenario, they are, I feel it is some sort of a moral responsibility of us, an organization it is. Because incidentally, our family had the representation in all the divisions of railways. They name it, just for the sake of completion, you have the running staff, you have the operating staff, then you have the commercial staff, then the signaling staff, then you have got the managerial aspect of it, then you have the coordinating, then the shunting staff, all somewhere around some 13 to 14 type of divisions are there, the categories of this one. When you see the scale or the magnitude with which the Indian Railways, it is supposed to be the fourth largest network in the world and it has got somewhere around 126,000 kilometers. These statistics, I took it because, it really, even now, it's a point of interest to me. And I was really, when I was jotting down, I would say that because there are as good as around 12,600 passenger trains and 7,500 somewhere near to that freight trains every day. They carry, of course, millions of people. And there are 7,300 stations and with 12.4 lakh employees. You can just imagine the Indian Railways. Even though they have done almost around 1,46,000 crores of the revenue or the turnover with a net income of around 2,800 crores. It's absolutely mammoth. And it is something, even though we say that whenever we do the reservation and when you get into the railway compartment or the bogie, our intention is, the human tendency is to have a lower berth. Suppose if you are, so that you are at comfort, you are comfortable and while traveling. But when you see the backdrop of this railway network, this is what it happens. This is definitely a sort of a very major triggering element as far as I am concerned, and probably the younger generation also would agree with me. And now coming to your own, I don't know, these two questions, I don't have the answer. Probably at the end of the session that probably I'll have to learn from you people. So where do we stand universally in artificial intelligence? Are we restricted only to the appliances where we buy, which are manufactured elsewhere? Really, I don't know the answer for this. This is definitely because everybody is saying that the artificial intelligence is going to be the say of the future, or it is going to have it is going to be the part of life. This is one trigger element I thought that you will be able to teach me. And then finally, it's a very humble or some sort of a wish list. When can we have some sort of a domestic robots in India? I don't know whether I can classify one as a robot, probably the Alexa. This I happen to see in my daughter's house, wherein you say something and if Alexa knows it, and many of the times, you tend to reply to Alexa also. That is a kind of an interaction we have got with this one. But then, is it a domestic robot? I don't know. But I have been told that some of the hospitals for regular the food trays or something like that, or even some sort of, this has to be, at the end of the session, probably somebody can really enlighten me. Now, as per the structure, now that I have just shared with you what is the brilliant portion of it, and the trivia, I got, made you getting grounded for a while, and then after that, having told that the triggering elements are there, so I listed down somewhere around 6 to 7, but then there could be innumerable elements or factors which can trigger any instance of this generation. Now, coming to the belief, this is something I'm slightly getting into the groove of what generally in an organization, generally the belief is, the gentleman, the youngster comes out of the campus, no matter whether it's a lady or a man, when they choose or when they get selected in multiple companies and then they select one among them, their belief is this company suits me. And similarly, on the other hand, the company says this employee has the right skill set. Probably everybody, the bosses will agree with me, because this happens in the beginning. Because you welcome them, and it is as good as the welcome drink, where you feel very, very elated, and you feel that everything is suiting to me, and the company also feels that, okay, we have got the right candidate. But then the next belief says that internally, after some time, that you see the environment and get familiarized with that environment, and then you say that I stand apart, or I want to grow, so I believe in putting extra efforts than others. The company, because the company has seen hundreds of people like you, maybe the turnover or because of the attrition or whatever be it is, got a very mature belief, everyone should be optimal. This happens in the second phase of it, and then after months pass by, or even sometimes a couple of years, then the youngster feels that no doubt he has contributed. So he says that my role is significant. I deserve due recognition. I won't blame them. It is also, we have seen that because they are completely attributable, this particular behavior or their belief, theoretically to the Maslow theory of hierarchy, where you've got the basic needs, then you've got the security needs, then you look for some sort of social needs, or even as years pass by, they look for some sort of an esteem needs. This every MBA a management student would have gone through that. This is a biblical statement for them, that the theory of hierarchical this one. So he requires, or he looks for some sort of a due recognition from the company. But then the company is consistent with its belief. So it says productivity should be high. No matter whether you are you are significant, your role is significant or anything like that. But what we want is some sort of a productivity, a higher productivity from that particular role. So then comes the demands. So the demands could be, as you all know, the demands could be professional. The major classification could be, one is when you spend somewhere around 40 hours or 42 hours in a week. So the demand could be, majority of the demands could be the 16 hours. You take constructively, if you take into account some 9 hours, there you get into the social demands. The professional demands could, it has a very wide range. It could range anywhere between the depth of your technical fundamental knowledge and the particular domain in which you have the specialization, what is the skill set, and once you get into a particular domain, what are the new type of an idea or a concept, what is your grasping abilities, and as a company, when you are when it entrusts you with some sort of a response, how do you meet the targets? Then obviously extended working hours, the consistency in your output, obviously the expressiveness or the communication skills, whenever you want to put your own particular concept or your own design to others, and to that of the basic demands such as the official decorum. You have the limited resources, what is going to be your the managerial approach, and maybe the common discipline, the basic discipline what you have, and so forth. Mind it, these demands are broadly met, are often based, I won't say that often met, they are often based on what we know as the intellectual quotient, the IQ, which is visible to you. because you know that you can claim yourself saying that I am linguistically I am adept with some 5 or 6 languages. Mathematically I am brilliant. Analytically I have a wonderful capability like that, because this particular thing is visible to you, and okay, it is measured or quantified in terms of the IQ. And the majority of these elements also hold good for the company as a whole also, because when you talk about the company is nothing but sort of a complex mixture of individuals. So there also, when a company as it represents outside, all these professional demands are always there. But then when we come to the social demands, they are very, very subtle. They are very subtle, and some of these things, because everybody knows it, because it is a sort of a very soft subject where your own very simple kindness or the patience or your the perseverance or even the empathy towards others, courteousness, and how much you are trustworthy to your own peers, and your interpersonal skills, your character of a high moral value, then your problem solving or even conflict resolving skills or conflict handling skills. This is where I say that the social demands are much more subtle than the professional demands, and nowhere it is documented, but it is very well monitored and it is very well assessed by others rather than you. And a very interesting addition to this particular soft skill arena, then again, many of you would have already come across, in recent times, it is the adversity quotient or AQ. Because we have, department was kind enough to depute me to a short-term course with XLRI, wherein I had to undergo emotional intelligence course. But then during that course, I learned there are so many quotients like IQ, EQ, PQ, SQ, that people's quotient, spiritual quotient, social quotient and all. Now I am more interested. I mean, this comes as a very pleasant surprise to me that there is what is known as an adversity quotient or AQ. It simply means that an individual's ability to think or face, plan it, develop and handle and manage the challenges rather than, or the complexities rather than routine things. And when we say that this AQ is now, it is going to be, probably in the simpler terms, we can always say that what is the type of a crisis management skills you have got. But then this has been given a wonderful jargon or a wonderful parlance where, it is called as adversity quotient. And they say that the soft skill experts, they say that the simple step to practice or master this AQ is often to undertake the very path which is full of challenges. I mean, it's quite interesting because you don't tread the same path where it is quite comfortable. You try to embark on a path which is challenging, and it is some sort of, sometimes it is adventurous, but disastrous also. I mean, I thought that something that can be roughly compared, because in project management parlance, we say that the CPM technique, when everything, the plan gets wavered, and when you are really under pressure to complete the project, you always undertake the CPM technique or the critical path method, and then you try to at least be true to the CPM so that you don't get into sort of the project overruns or whatever be it is. Also, another very rude very, I would say that a very primitive comparison could be the program what we see that man versus wild. Bear Grylls. So that happens to be I felt that it is quite analogous to that sort of an artificial, the adversity quotient. Probably embarking on a new project or a job or even a dwelling place or a new domain. You have been put into some domain accidentally or even forcibly. But nowadays, people embark on some new projects or new. I have seen people who have done masters in engineering and getting into some sort of journalism or sort of an active journalism. And similarly, vice versa, it's not possible. But then these are all some simple things where business ventures also, you try to get into that. So here, this can be sort of a curtain raiser to this adversary quotient, what these people have. So now, switching over to the other element of the sub-element where I thought is the performance. Performance again is, all of you would agree that it is very subjective majority of the times, because it has got, even though it has got many mutations or variations, but it is quite subjective. An individual's performance is always unique. Skills or IQ or whatever be it is. Let us not bracket it into that. And the individual's performance is unique and probably, I would say, in a very better way, signature specific. But being a part of a bigger canvas, called either you call a team or an entity or a company or an institution, many such individual performance get allied into a single collective performance. So the company looks for, when it looks for this one, the company's welfare lies in the collective performance. As I said, for a company, the professional demands are from outside, where unless you are consistent, you will not be able to meet the such demands. And that is where exactly they talk about the collective performance rather than the individual performance. Shortcomings in individual performance always get compensated in the bigger assessment. Again, in a lighter vein, they always say that in state governments, I won't say, I don't want to single out any sort of a state government, but they say that 80% of the people work for the remaining 20% of the people. That is what they say in a very lighter vein. So the shortcomings in individual performances get compensated in a bigger assessment by the company, or the bigger compensation is actually taken care by the company. Whereas any sort of, in the reverse way, any sort of adverse trends in the collective performance could be very, very detrimental to the individuals, and they may bring down even the morale of the institution as a whole. Some of the companies which have been doing very well because of some sort of an adverse trends or probably some other lacuna, the collective performance has come down, and then it has become detrimental to both the organization as well as to the individuals who were part of this particular company.
You are mentioning about adversity quotient, right?
Yes.
So being a specialist in HR, this thing, how do you assess an adversity quotient when there is no adversity while joining or while recruiting a person? Is there any technique to understand or technique to judge a person how he will react during adversities when actually there is no adversity, or we have to simulate a situation and assess? How do you go about it?
Sir, probably, I believe that a company or even a government, a very well-organized institution cannot afford to have some sort of an adverse situation, create some sort of an adverse situations and this one, except for the refineries, which you are very familiar of. They do the fire drill and all these things. An adverse situation is simulated and how well you reacted. But with respect to an organization of, let us say, some particular manufacturing background or a design background, here probably we can tell the youngsters what are the non-orthodox or the non-conventional situation that can crop up. And probably he can be simulated. As you said, the simulation trials could be the best.
You are mentioning about the interdisciplinary regards or interdisciplinary respects, which we feel among the youth, the current day youth. They feel everyone is a king in their own subject, but there is no, for them, till they face an adverse situation or a situation like this electrical grid one you are talking, the teamwork is going to be the final solution for any problem. Now, how do you inculcate that team spirit that I also have to need the other guy, I have to work with the other guy? This kind of culture now being such a big organization, do you have any techniques to improve that interdependability or respectability to the other departments?
So definitely it is the onus of the seniors. Like for example, even though initially in our own initial days we were also having some sort of a feeling, but as I said, we were all working with the real pioneers and the real experts, so we were like mouse only. But nowadays the people are academically brilliant and they have got much up-to-date knowledge, but then they also carry some amount of I would say that a virtual image in themselves, saying that my role or my particular intelligence is definitely not others like that. But then, in my opinion, I feel that it is the seniors' responsibility to inculcate them this particular aspect. Sir. Thank you for all the support you have given.